hits you, and it hits you in the face really quickly, that it'll be your last time inside of that stadium. It's a really special group of guys that have been through some uncertainty during the course of their program, chose to stay when I arrived. A lot of these guys and have been instrumental in helping turn the culture and turn our program around.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! It don't say Joe won. It don't say Sprite won. It say Tennessee won, man. Let's go!
It's a special group, how they've performed, but also just who they are as people. Really proud of them.
D. Williams heading to the goal line. Touchdown, Tennessee!
DeLillo, pressure from behind, gets sacked. Pressure coming, and he gets sacked by Aaron Beasley. It is a touchdown for Tennessee. Jalen McCullough. Sideline of Thomas, and this time it's picked off. Kamal Hadden over the middle to Castles. Touchdown!
Again, the pressure gets to him. Touchdown, Tennessee!
Loose football on the deck. This will be a touchdown by Tyler Barron.
Milton flips it. Touchdown, Jacob Warren.
This is John Ward, welcoming you to another presentation of Tennessee football on home video. The story you're about to see unfold is one of adventure and achievement. It's the story of teamwork, commitment, and the will to win.
Doesn't need a lot of... Oh! He took a weapon!
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, Vols fans. It is the final game of the regular season. I mean, the season just went by super quick. I mean, it's crazy. And, obviously it is senior day. Hopefully y'all got to see that hype video that was done by the university. But, man, I'm going to tell you, I mean, there's a lot of guys on this team that we are going to miss next season.
Oh, yeah, big time, man. Yeah, the season was a freaking blur, man. Just seems like just yesterday we were – kind of struggling, to beat some inferior opponents early in the year. We kind of thought we're on the right track. Go out there down at Virginia, didn't really know how bad they were, but we looked really good against them and kind of kept it going throughout the following weeks. Then have that freaking debacle against Florida in the swamp, and then kind of season's falling apart. We're kind of getting it back going, and it's been up and down roller coaster ride of a season. Yeah, but hey, this is my team, and every year is its own thing, man. Every year is an experience. Every season is an experience. And, this has been another experience for us. Definitely, a disappointment, not to at least show up better against Mizzou and Georgia. But, hey, big win against A&M. Went out there. We had Bama against the ropes this year. And, I'm to the point now where I'm ready for next season. But, let's send these seniors off the right way because they've given their all to Tennessee, and definitely going to miss those guys.
Absolutely. And so, one of the biggest stories that came out is that Cooper Mays is not going to be participating in Senior Day. So does that mean that he's coming back? I would say that there's a very high probability that he is. And, I actually have a video kind of talking about him and the offensive line, who I think is going to be coming back, and why, kind of talks about their draft stock, things like that. So, it's some good information in that video. I'll probably have that one posted tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll be posted on Monday. But obviously, if we could get Cooper Mays back, I mean, what does that mean for this team? I mean, moving forward, if he and maybe some of these other guys, especially on that offensive line, come back, you can allocate money to guys that are proven inside of your own system. You don't have to try to go out and reach and get a guy out of the transfer portal. And I think that that's something that obviously Coach Heupel covets, very, very, highly, because even in that hype video, he's just talking about, hey, these guys stayed here and, helped us get this, program going. And so, I think that that's a big part of the reason that we've seen so many of these guys that some of us wanted to get out of there. We're like, well, why isn't Heupel playing some of these younger guys? I think that that is a big part of the reason why. But, next season is going to be a lot more of a transitional season with some of these guys coming back, staying, and then a good mix of being able to put in some of these younger guys And, I think that the sky's the absolute limit. But first things first, we got to finish out this season, and that starts with Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it does. It starts with a Vanderbilt team that I think they've, they won their first 2 and lost all of them since. Heck, I'll be 100% honest with all you guys. I ain't watched a lick of film on these guys. Okay, hey, I haven't watched a lick of film on these guys. I've just, I've seen them. I've seen bits and pieces of their games. But this is a prototypical, overlooking your opponent situation for me because I haven't watched a lick of film. But but I will say this. I do know from what I've seen, they're pretty unathletic, especially on defense. I mean, we just have guys open. They're either going to have to play too high to avoid us, having guys open, or they're going to stack the box, and we're going to have guys open. So I mean, either way, we're going to be able to run right at them. We'll be able to have guys open down the field. We would really have to have a really bad game to struggle with these guys today. Like you said, senior day, these guys are playing emotional with a little bit of a chip.
Yeah.
Kind of got whipped the past 2 weeks, so looking to kind of have somebody to take it out on. And Vandy's rolling in town just the right time for us. So I think we'll come in here. We'll play well. Joe Milton's going to get the start. I won't be surprised if we see Nico kind of get in the game. I don't know if I want to say early, but he's going to definitely play today. I think second half is going to be his half. I think we'll come out here. We'll have a session on the ball, get Jalen Wright his 1,000 yards for the season, and look for Joe to. I think we're going to finally hopefully let Joe see how far he can throw the ball. Let's see if he can throw 100 yards.
Yeah.
Let's dial it up and let him throw as far as he can. That's what everybody's waiting on.
Yeah, well, and that would kind of piss me off. I mean, I'm just going to be totally honest with you. Like, if we open it up in this game,
what in the world are we doing?
I'm going to be irate with Coach Heupel, but I do expect for us to open it up in this game. I did a breakdown on Vandy, and I can tell you this, that their offense, it's got some wrinkles to it. They kind of do they don't do a whole lot of different things, but I think that there is some what's the correct word I'm looking for? You can tell that they're trying to do something, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you can tell that there's like a rhyme and a reason to what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I think that they're on the right path there. Like Pete said, it's not a whole lot of great athletes out there, but they can potentially pose some problems with the way that they line up. Obviously, they're coming off of a bye week, so they're going to have some, probably trick plays, things like that, and they're going to know exactly where to go up against this team. You can tell that they're well coached. Question is going to be, how much does the roster difference play a difference in this game? And I think for us, for Tennessee, it's going to make a huge difference. I will also say this. Vanderbilt plays a lot of man-to-man coverage. You're going to see a lot of 0, 1 high looks. So they're going to try to get after our quarterback in Joe Milton or Nico. And, they've got a really good linebacker. I think his last name is Patterson. He's an NFL guy. He's a sophomore. And I think that he may have a brother on that team as well, but he is a dog. He's a really, really good player. And, they've got, some spurts of good talent on. It's like they have one guy on every level, probably, especially on defense. Offense, they're still trying to get some pieces put together. But, like everyone expects, we should be able to dominate in this game, and we should be able to see Nico. So, hopefully we get out to a fast start, P. Like you said, we want to make sure that these guys who won't be coming back next season can get some, good targets, reps, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Milton should be able to get, ample amount of passes. We already know that Jalen Wright's probably not coming back next season, although he could. So expect for us to try to, get him maybe, 2 to 3 series to start this one off back to back to back. If they feel like his body can handle it. And I think that he's going to go off in this game. Keaton is another guy, probably going to see a whole lot of targets to him. Obviously Jacob Warren, definitely want to see him get at least 1 touchdown, for what all he's done for this, program and school and team. And, Callie is another guy that, you want to see him get some of those targets too, because he's not coming back next season. So, I think that once all that's out of the way, I feel like Coach Heupel is on the same page with us, where he's kind of looking forward to next season. Now, as a coach, you've got to continue to coach your guys. But, I think that he wants to kind of take a look and see what does he have on this football team. Yeah. Who do you, want to ask to come back? And who could kind of, come back, and you're going to kind of push them out of the door and say, well, there may not be enough room on this roster for you next season. So you've got to kind of be able to look at everything that you've got. And then, obviously we've got to be able to showcase what this offense and defense can do so that we can get in some of these, freshmen that, the 2024 class, 2025 class, 2026 class. And obviously we want to look good for that transfer portal. There's some studs out there. Evan Stewart, guys like that. You need to show this offense can, produce and put up points. I think that all those things, I said a whole lot, but all those things are going to be pretty much how this game should play out if we go on script, and we most definitely should.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think everything you said is exactly right. You obviously want to see us come out here, give these seniors an opportunity, the last chance kneeling. So it's going to be a lot of kind of giving these guys an opportunity. This is the type of game where maybe you do see trick play or something like that, maybe a reverse pass to a guy, just give him an easy touchdown or something like that to maybe Jacob Warren or somebody like that. You see that kind of stuff in these type of games because you're not too worried about your opponent. Now, I will say this. This is a rivalry game, and Vanderbilt's going to get up for this game. We're going to get their best effort. They're going to play hard, and so we got to kind of sustain that and be able to, get going and not give them any confidence early on. Go ahead and put them away early. Hop out 21-0 first quarter on these guys, and just keep on mashing the gas. But yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of the point I'm at. I'm ready to see, who's going to leave and who we're going to go get in the portal because that's going to tell us everything we know about next season. Because there's a lot of guys, especially on both sides of the line of scrimmage, that are kind of fringe guys. Are they going? Or are they staying? And so we just really want to kind of know. Like we're kind of past the like all anticipation, all the anxiety, and we just want to kind of know: are you leaving or are you staying?
Right.
Sounds like Cooper's coming back. Sounds like it. Hopefully he does. Hopefully Spraggan stays with him and Campbell stays with him. Those are really the main three you want to get back. Yeah. Mincy, I'd love to have him back too. I mean, you can't have enough quality bodies, and he's definitely a quality body. 6'5.5", 330, can move pretty well. So you love to have him back as well. And I think even Dane Davis is a guy that can come back.
He can.
Hey, he's another one. We're talking about him the other day.
Yeah.
Can
do it all.
Yeah, can play center. Can play guard, can play tackle. It's kind of that Swiss Army knife. You need those type of guys, especially when when your depth isn't where you want it to be. Yeah. Good to have a guy who can play pretty much any position. So, I want to see him and want to see us finish strong with recruiting. Let's get Jordan Seaton in here. Let's get some of these big-time guys in here and, see if they can come in here and fight for a spot next season. And, I'm excited to really see who's in the portal. Because, we got to really get some guys that can come in here and be
We are about maybe a couple of weeks. So, December the 4th is when it opens up for everybody. So, I think that the rules are if you're head coach gets fired or something like that, then you can enter like maybe as soon as they leave. Don't quote me on that. It's something like that because we're looking at the Aggies and their guys are already into the portal. Yeah. So obviously, everyone's going to be trying to purge that roster because they're loaded.
So many guys.
Oh my God! Everyone's trying to go. Guys. We should be going hard at them. So, and I don't know how that works. I don't know if college coaches and teams and stuff have to wait until a certain, I'm sure that there is a certain date or something. There's some sort of a time frame on when we can actually start to reach out to these guys, and it's not called tampering. But of course, we're going to have some, guys that aren't necessarily registered to this program that, kind of sneak a little, message in to some of these guys or something, or maybe, come in, fly and see them face to face. Let's not be Connor Stallions. Okay. Like, let's not have any paper trail of what we're doing. But let's go out and try to get some of these guys. But obviously that is the biggest thing is who's going to stay, who's going to leave. And then what do we need to do from there? Like I was saying, we've got videos coming out just kind of talking about all that. So I don't want to tip our hand to that too much, but I will say that we need to develop our underclassmen. I think a lot better than what we have done. Now, P, do you think that it's that we're not necessarily getting them up to speed on time, or do you think it's more of Coach Heupel and the staff is being loyal to the guys that have stayed and saying, well, we're just going to give them the, precedent over some of these younger guys?
It's kind of a tough question. I don't know if they're not up to speed. I don't think it's the loyalty thing. I really think it's more of a deal where these guys just aren't ready to play. Now, is that, do you attribute that 100% to coaching, or do you attribute that a little bit to the player not being as good as he's supposed to be, or, not being – not taking his correct steps to develop what he needs to. Because I feel like, in our time watching Heupel, there's been guys who we wanted to play that never got to play, and then maybe they transferred out, and they're not really doing anything wherever they're at either. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we finally got to see him play, and they weren't as impressive. Like Jordan Thomas, for example, I've always been raving about him, wanting to see him. Yeah, I saw him, and he's not a bad player, but I could see why he wasn't playing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I really think these guys, they're not ready to play. And I think that's the question you're asking is that coaching, or is that more so, these players aren't as good as they, as good as they think they are?
Yeah, players maybe not putting in that extra bit of work. And, I most definitely think that the transition from high school to college, whenever you're going up to that next level, every single time, there's more work that you're going to have to put in. And, I felt good about that 2023 class. I think that those guys seem like they just completely and totally get it. Now, obviously, this is their first season on campus with this team. And, we have a couple of guys that, were out for the season that I think are going to be studs for this team. So really looking forward to that moving forward. But, you have to give them some time. I think that about the second year, we want to see some good steps. I think that we want to see most of these guys getting some playing time in their second season, at some point in these games. And then in that third season, these guys need to be starters. Now, you've got some of these guys that are just absolute total studs. Like, we've got 2 linebackers that we've seen playing early as true freshmen. So they're obviously going to be the cream of the crop, I think, in that 2023 class. 2024, I think we've got some more dogs coming in, P. Like you said, we got to finish strong there. And, it seems like we're trending correctly to be able to do just that. But, yeah, I do think that there are some issues on this coaching staff with kind of, I would say maybe implementing that dog mentality into some of these guys, and I hate to say this, but honestly speaking, I think that the main reason that Georgia is doing so good is because Kirby Smart instills that in his team. They play discipline, they play hard, and, they're also talented. But what they do, and we talk about this a whole lot of times, it doesn't wow you. They're not having to do nothing wowing because the way that college football is set up now, it's not a lot of players with that dog in them. And, a lot of times you have to be kind of a player's coach. And, I think that Heupel he's definitely more of a player's coach. He's laid back. I know that he'll rip you. I've heard stories about it, but I think that he's got to turn that up a little bit more on his staff, and that needs to trickle down to these players because, there are several guys that you're seeing like, dude, like you can ball more than what you're doing. That dog is just not in you. We got to get those guys up out of here. And, speaking of that, while we're just kind of talking about the transition from this season to next season, I think that Elijah Herring is going to have to go to the line of scrimmage next season, maybe an end or something. I don't think that he can play in space anymore. So I'm going to be interested to see how much does Jeremiah Teeland and some of these younger linebackers get to play in this game. And that'll be really interesting in this offseason. If Coach Banks or if Coach BJ leaves Herring at linebacker, somebody needs to be fired.
Yeah, he's gone.
Somebody needs to be fired because he has no business playing SEC ball in space at all. He's entirely too slow.
No, yeah. There's no way in the world that he's starting. I mean, heck, it's T-Lander, it's freaking Aaron Carter, it's Caleb Perry, it's Jalen Smith. And then maybe you start looking at Elijah Herring. Okay, I mean, we've seen enough, and hey, not to be hard on the guy, but he just ain't got what it takes to help this team win games. So yeah, we definitely make a change here, and that's gonna be huge, man. During off season. What are we seeing? Is Herring running with the ones? You know what I mean? Yeah. Is that what's happening here? Heck, I'd rather see Evan Spillman come in as true freshman.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen him play at this level, but, I feel more comfortable with him.
Oh, yeah, but you can just tell on film.
Yeah, there's at least an upside. I kind of know what Herring is. I don't see him getting any faster, all of a sudden. So like you said, maybe he can do what Roman Harrison did, kind of come off the edge and not really do anything, but just kind of, be a body out there for you. You know what I mean? Maybe he can do that for you. I don't know, but that's that's gonna be a big thing, man. I want to see, that's why I'm kind of anxious to see some of these older guys kind of leave because I want to see some of these young guys we've been recruiting and hearing about, that we've seen the film. I want to see John Slaughter at safety. I want to see some of these freshmen at corner. I want to see these younger bodies we got. And see if they're really ready to play, or are we going to miss these Gabe Drew-Lowlys, these seniors? We're going to miss those guys because they're better than we thought and gave them credit for.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that whenever you look at it from a ceiling perspective, I think that these young guys that we've got that haven't played much or haven't played, period, once their bodies get ready, once their minds and bodies get ready to be able to sustain college football, especially SEC football, I think that, they're going to be absolutely tremendous. I do want to get to this comment. I just saw this one. So this is from Darren Weaver. He says, I like to see him rip on the refs too from time to time. Yeah, and that is a huge,
that's a great one.
That's something that I've been calling for all season. Heupel is a little bit too laid back in that sense. Like, dude, if you're seeing that they're killing us with these penalties, go get another 15-yarder and just let them know. And I think that is, I mean, as quiet as it's kept, I think that's part of the reason the team or that the ref crews have continued to do that to us because we're not laying into them. You know what I'm saying? You've got to do it sometimes. You can't do it all the time. But I mean, it's been, I would say, several times this season that Heupel could have done that. Yeah. And I mean, it's just, he's got to show more dog on that sideline. Show it just a little bit more passion. You don't want for your head coach to be all over the daggone place, but show a little bit more because that kind of bleeds into your team. And, I think that's something that we're missing this season. I've seen from a lot of different people's comments, it seems like this team at some point this season just kind of like gave up or kind of like packed it in. It does seem like that. It seems like, it's just not enough effort. It's just not enough fight. And, Tennessee football team Tennessee sports in general, period, you should never see that ever. Yeah. Ever. It's all about pride. We are, the best fan base in the entire nation, passionate. I mean, this is a program of passion. I mean, just think about all the greats that come through here. Just think about those highlight reels and, that you have set up inside of your own mind. It's a lot of passionate stuff. You can go back to those 90s and, of course, we always go back to that. Talk about the Al Wilsons, talk about the, Deion Grants, Raynoch Thompsons, John Hendersons, all those guys. What did you see a whole lot of back then? Them freaking celebrating. I mean, making plays, making big hits and celebrating, going crazy over a big hit. Yeah. I mean, we're not playing up against a whole lot of tempo offense where we can't do some of that. I want to see a whole lot more of that, man. Yeah. And, so anyway, that's kind of my rant. But again, I think that's where this team has got to get to if you want to be a championship caliber team. We're about to watch Michigan and the Buckeyes here. I mean, the freaking one game that they have to play all season. And, we're going to crown them and put them into the playoffs, one of these guys. But, one thing that I can say about them is that they play physical football. Okay, it might be slow. All right, it might be boring, but both of these teams are playing physical football. So if you want to get out of the SEC, make it into the playoffs, and beat some of these teams in the playoffs, you've got to play a more physical brand of football. So, and you've got to have that dog in you. And I want to see a whole lot more of that this season. P, who do you think? So, do you think we're going to have any coaches leaving after this season? Like, do you think anybody gets dismissed?
I don't know. That's a tough call. I don't think so. I mean, heck, you would love to see, a little shakeup, but I don't know. I just don't Heupel, like we've come and talking about. This is his demeanor, his personality. He's also very loyal. Yeah. And I just don't really see him getting rid of these guys. I mean, maybe Willie Martinez. I know he's the only one whose contract I think is up. So we'll see if they renew him. But I mean, I definitely would love some type of shakeup. Like something. Give us some type of flair. Somebody come in from new energy. Just kind of get this thing kind of, because I feel like
somebody does need to come in.
Yeah, like we're playing a little too, like you said, a little too finesse. Like let's get back to smash mouth football. Like you talk about some of those, you never expect Tennessee team to give up on a season. I think back to some of the former teams towards the end of his tenure. Yeah, some of those teams that won, 5-6 games. Doesn't matter. We're in November, December watching these guys play, and you turn on the film. I mean, hey, we might have lost the game.
I don't know if former ever had a team that only won 5 or 6 games.
No, yeah. Yeah, we were not making bowl games. Definitely like his last season. We won like 5 games.
I don't know why I do not. So that would have been, I think. So Eric Berry was on those teams. We didn't go to. No, there's no way.
Yeah, we were like because when he
that was like 2009
07, 09. I think it was 09. No, 09 was Kiffin's first year. I think it was 08 was his last year.
Yes, yep. So 08 was his last year. Yeah,
yeah. And even those teams, man, like you watch the way the defense played, especially like these guys were come downhill clapping. Like our defense was never the issue. Yeah, it was never the issue. We always were playing hard, always had pride, always fought to the finish. And that's why, win, lose, or draw, I was always proud to be involved.
Yeah. And so, what? That's the scary thing, I think, to me, is that Tennessee, to your point, especially if you're talking about Fulmer's era, I think that Fulmer's deal was it kind of like what Georgia does now. There was no secret what Tennessee was going to do. We were just going to be better than you, and you couldn't stop it. And, football kind of changed to a point where you've got to be able to kind of keep up with the times. And I don't think that Fulmer did that well. So a lot of that was on the offense, just not putting up enough points. Don't really remember a whole lot of the defenses being bad. Obviously, we had that 3rd and Chavis, sometimes, we just give up some stupid bonehead stuff. Yeah. But I mean, for the most part, the defenses were always, solid to good or really, really good. But seeing what this offense did this season, now obviously still, I think we're averaging like 30 points a game. We're still running well, But, I mean, we're not really scoring points. That is really scary with Josh Heupel. And I think that he's going to have to, like you said, Pete, get in some fresh blood, get somebody to kind of like help you to self-scout. And because we've got to be able to put up points. Like, that's what Heupel came here for. He's an offensive-minded coach. And, for us to not be scoring, I don't give a damn who's out there playing. Everyone wants to talk about, Joe's not this, he's not that. And you know what? Y'all are right on those points. But what I will say, look at what he is. He's a big, strong, physical quarterback that can run, and he can throw the ball a freaking mile. So find something that he can do. Find something, that fits the skill set of this team on offense. And, we've got to start doing a lot more of that. And that has been concerning for me these past 2 or 3 games. So I'm going to be paying a lot of, I'm going to be watching that very closely to see what this offense looks like in this game because, I mean, Heupel's going to have to get that fixed.
Yeah, I mean, heck, if you look at Alabama, for example, that's because this thing with Heupel is seems like he has to have a, first-round type quarterback to be successful on offense.
Yeah.
I don't think Jalen Milroe's a first-round quarterback. Now, we saw early in the season, Milroe, talking about Alabama, Milroe came in and didn't look great first few weeks, but as the season got going, they kind of changed their offense. They said, hey, this guy throws pretty good deep ball. So what do? They just throw a bunch of deep balls. You know what I mean? Like, they let him run, use his legs, do like you said, play to your team's strengths. And now Alabama's looking like one of the better teams in the country.
Yeah.
Just because it may have taken them some time to kind of adjust and adapt to it, but they figured it out. And Milton did start playing kind of better towards the mid to late part of the season. But I don't know what happened with the play call in the past couple of weeks. Like I don't know if it was play calling or if it was just him. Like I don't know, but we need to be taking at least 5 to 10 deep shots a game.
Oh yeah, I mean that should be bare minimum. And obviously we've only got 2 games left, but yeah, I mean I thought that was an absolute no-brainer. We came into the season and we said, okay, this roster is different. We're gonna have to, and we knew the teams were gonna be playing our offense differently too. So we knew, hey, that running game is going to be there. We've got to be able to run the football. So we knew this is going to be a year where we're going to look better running the football because we knew the teams were going to try to take away deep shots. But what do, right? You've got a quarterback with a cannon and who can run, and you've got a stable of running backs. You've got a good offensive line. You run it and you play action and you sling it deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, every other drive should be we're throwing it deep. And even if you say, okay, Joe Milton, this guy's double covered. All right, the pass is 40, 50 yards? Throw it 80. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And just show them like, oh my God. Like, that's what you've got to do. Like, you've got to open things up. And so anyway, I mean, I don't want to get too far into the X's and O's, but I'm just saying like that has been very frustrating for me, watching this because I know that Josh Heupel is a great offensive mind. And I just feel like he hasn't used it this season. And that's been a big part of the reason that this team was not as successful as we wanted. And I'm just hoping that doesn't, hurt us in that transfer portal this season. Yeah. Let's see here. So Robert Ramsey says, I feel like we got some dogs waiting to get in the game. Some of these guys have only had minutes of play this year. They're hungry. Go Vols. Yeah, I agree with that for sure, man. Too.
I mean, guys like Nathan Leacock.
Oh, my gosh.
We saw a little bit of Kev Herring, but I want to see more of him. He didn't look great last time we saw him. But yeah, we got a bunch of young guys in this roster that we're excited about.
Yeah, well, I think that Herring might have a sack or 2 this season.
Oh,
so,
nice.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's definitely got a lot of upside, and I really like what I heard, from him and his brother and from some of the other players talking about how much he's eating and putting in that work to try to, get his body ready to play SEC football. People tend to overlook Bradley, who I don't think he's played a lick this season, but he's a guy that, kind of in the same boat that Herring was in, where he's got to gain a whole bunch of weight and looks like he has picked up some, but he's going to be a stud. I mean, dude, our pass rush should be crazy. Like it should be crazy. Jordan Ross is coming in. We've got a lot of, there's some guys, it's a lot of guys.
And that's a great point you bring up too about, Herring and put on the weight. Like that's the thing we got to realize, these freshmen, as talented as they may be, it's just such a transition from that, from senior year of high school to freshman year of college. Yeah. Everybody's bigger, stronger, faster. You have a lot more responsibilities. You're not just going to get in the passer. You have actual things you got to do. Yeah. And so it really is an adjustment period. And so that's why you don't see a lot of these guys as true freshmen really step in and play. But, I think we'll see a huge jump from year 1 to year 2 of a lot of these guys like Caleb Herring, Shaven Bradley, a lot of these guys. Yes, sir. Good morning. Hopefully this staff can develop these guys, because I think that's kind of been the big question mark is, are we developing these guys or not? Guys like Coach BJ, Rodney Garnett's going to do what he can do. Coach Eckler with the outside backers and that whole deal. Always got some ready to play because we're going to need some young guys to step up. I think kind of regardless of who stays and who goes, we're going to need some of these younger guys to step up and be huge contributors next season. So that's really what I'll be watching for is hey. Who's taking that step? We got guys like Tyree Weathersby, who we're expecting to be an absolute stud.
He's going to be a beast. He's going to be a beast.
Yeah, seriously. You know what I mean? So
dude, him, James Pierce, like we said,
Pierce.
Caleb Herring, and then I know Jordan Ross is going to come. I think he's going to be ready to play as a freshman. I
think so.
Bradley should be ready to daggum rock and roll. You still got David Hobbs, inside outside guy.
Yeah.
We've got some dudes. So I'm sorry. Go
no. That's about it. Yeah, I just want to see these guys get better and develop, man. That's what I want to see. There's no excuse, for these young corners. Jordan Matthews. I always forget the third guy's name.
Ricky Gibson.
Kanye. Christian Kanye.
Those
guys. There's no reason they shouldn't be ready to play next season.
Yeah.
And be like all-SEC type guys. You know what I mean? Because they're athletic enough. They got good size. So, like I said, we'll see how good coaching staff we have coming up in this next season.
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge. And, I don't think, I know we kind of touched on this earlier, but I don't think that we're going to see very many changes to our coaching staff unless somebody gets a job elsewhere. We'll probably see everyone come back. But, again, we've got to try to get somebody in there that's going to help us to kind of like self-scout. But, I fully expect all those younger guys to be ready to rock and roll next year. And we've got a much tougher schedule next season than what we had this year. So, we will see. We will see how these guys step up because, like you said, Pete, guys definitely have to step up. So somebody actually just asked, I think it was Stinger. He said, "What channel is the game on?" I think it's on the SEC Network.
I think so. Yeah. It's at 3:30 something.
Yeah. It's a 3:30 game. It may be on the SEC Network. So if anybody knows that, please put that down in the chat. I know that we're going to find it for sure. Robert Ramsey, Joe has to run today. Yeah. I would actually. I think that it'd be good for him to run some, but I think that we're going to see a lot more of him using his arms or using his arm in this game because I think he's going to want to showcase more of that. Probably we'll see some of him running because that's going to be a good thing for him in this draft process. But guys, you've got to keep in mind, we've got to have guys get drafted because that looks good on us. So we've got to be rooting for these guys, obviously, to get drafted as high as possible. Joe Milton is a guy that if he finishes strong these, final 2 games, let's just say if he comes out, if he plays perfect in these final 2 games, his draft stock is going to skyrocket because of him being such a big, strong, physical guy that can throw the ball, 10 miles and, he can also run. So, that's going to be really big for us. So we've got to be rooting a lot for Joe Milton. And back to our point about getting Nico in kind of early, I think that's going to help Joe, give him, I'd say, 25 to 30 passes, something like that. Get it out of the way early. Let's get that tempo going. Let's run a whole bunch of plays, because we've got to get a lot of plays to a whole lot of different people. And then let's get them off the field. All right. And then, we get Nico and all those guys. But yeah, I think we've got several guys on this team that should be able to get drafted at some point.
And, you kind of changed the subject a little bit, but you saying that about the tempo, getting it going, getting a lot of plays.
Yeah.
Something that, we haven't really talked about this season, and I feel like it did impact our offense is the new kind of new play call.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think we're getting as many plays. Typically we get a first down, clock stops. We got a bounce, clock stops. Now it just keeps running. So, I think that's kind of part of the reason we've seen this offense not be as explosive, or maybe not as explosive, but, be as productive. I think that's something to do with it because we're not getting as many opportunities. And then the other team can get the ball and can run the clock out a lot more.
Yeah.
So that's something I kind of think about. Never got to mention it, but I think it's definitely impacted us this year.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. But see, I'm also just talking about from snap to snap, we're not moving nearly as fast.
Yeah, we're not.
And I don't understand if that is because we're trying to let our defense rest some more. I don't understand that.
We had 2 weeks. I think Kentucky. We had 2 games where we were going fast, and then we went back to going slow. I don't know.
Yeah, Heupel's got to kind of get back to, kind of doing more of the things that worked for him. It's weird because it's like he got away from everything that actually worked. And it's doing this other stuff. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to talk too bad, about Heupel and anyone else. Obviously, we want to get y'all fired up for this game. But, it's a lot of stuff that's very, very frustrating that I've been seeing anyway over these past couple of weeks. What is going on here? Seems like we have so few plays this year. Yeah, man. Even Georgia came in with a halfback pass and an end around. Yeah. these type plays make you play defense differently. We don't give the other team much to. Yeah, I agree with that 1,000,000%. Yeah, we just got to mix it up a whole lot more. So we are getting kind of close to that 12 o'clock hour. We're going to go ahead and go through some game picks. We've got some big ones. Obviously, this is rivalry week, and I know we keep looking up at this screen. We keep looking up, but we're looking up at this game. This is the pregame right here for the Michigan and the Buckeyes game. But we're going to go ahead and get into that right now, man, and see, see what some of these picks are. And, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts too. So y'all leave y'all's thoughts down in the comments section. All right, now let's go ahead and get going. All right, so first game is Michigan versus Ohio State. All right, so the game is in Ann Arbor. It's at noon. We just talked about this. Michigan's favored by 3.5 points. Over under is 46.5. Whole lot of drama, controversy surrounding this one. I expect this to be an old school slugfest. These two teams have always hated one another. It's a whole lot more that's happened this season to add that, to throw some more fuel onto the fire. I think this is going to be a good game. Pete, what you got?
You know what? I think I like Michigan once again in this one. I think they're going to be too physical up front. They're going to run the ball like they have been.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, I don't know how good that quarterback really is, Kyle McCord.
Yeah.
I know he's got Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw it to, but I think he's going to need a little bit more than just one guy on the outside. So I like Michigan to win this one. Probably a somewhat low-scoring game, like 31-27, something like that.
31-27. That's a whole lot of points, sir. I don't think this game breaks. I don't think either team can break 25 points. I don't even know if they even break 20 points. This is going to be we threw the ball a total of 25 times. Both teams. It's going to be a whole lot of running. I mean, they're going to run the ball on almost every single play. Like you said, P, I don't know a whole lot about Ohio State or their quarterback. I've heard that he's not great. That's obviously a big part of what they like to do. I haven't really seen a whole lot of Michigan play either. I just know that both of these teams are really boring. But I'm kind of going for Michigan to win because I think that throws a big wrench into the playoff situation. Even though at this point Tennessee's out, so I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and pick Michigan to win this one. I'm going to say 20-19. All right, so next game is another noon. We've got Louisville versus Kentucky. The game is at Louisville, and they are favored by 7.5 points. The over is 49.5. P, what you got?
This is obviously a rivalry game. Rivalry week, anything can happen. I kind of like Kentucky to somehow pull off the massive upset here. A lot of people are going to be leaning Louisville here. Louisville's looked good this season. I think Kentucky kind of be too physical up front, and I think Louisville will be able to stop from running the ball. And that quarterback, for Kentucky, he's shown some flashes, especially against us. We saw he can pass it. So, look for him to keep going. Yep, Tim Banks, thank you. Appreciate it. But I like Kentucky to win this one. Somewhat low scoring, probably 27-24, something like that. Kentucky.
Yeah. So I can see Kentucky winning this one, but I'm not going to pick them to win because every single team that Georgia has played up against and obviously beat, I want them to lose to make their strength of schedule look even weaker. Because I just want to keep them out of the playoffs at all costs. But I'm going to go Louisville to actually win this one by more than a 7.5. I think that Louisville can win this one. I'm going to say 35 to 21. All right, so on to the next one right here. All right, so the next one is Texas A&M versus LSU at LSU. It's a noon game, and LSU's favored by 13, over under 66.5. Pete, what you got?
I like LSU to win this one. Obviously A&M doesn't have a head coach anymore, so expect them to kind of be flailing to win. We got guys talking about Evan Stewart, guys like that, kind of opting out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So their motivation is going to be kind of a big question mark for this game. So I like LSU to put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
At LSU, so we're going to go 48-21. LSU.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. Obviously, Daniels is in that Heisman race, and this is his last real game, I think, before the votes come out, right? Yeah. So he's going to have to play well and expect for LSU to really open up that playbook and try to put up a whole lot of points. I think they can. Just like Pete said, Texas A&M, they've given up on this season. I actually think that that game up in Knoxville is the game that kind of broke this team. I think that it broke that coaching staff, and I think it broke those players. And since then, we have not seen the same fight and dog out of them. So yeah, give me LSU to put up 50 in this one. I'm going to go LSU. Maybe not 50. Brian Kelly is always going to be Brian Kelly. I'm going to go LSU to win this one, 42 to. I'm going to go 17. I don't see Texas A&M being able to score too many points. All right, so next one right here, we've got Auburn versus Alabama. And this game is at Auburn. It's a 3:30 kickoff. Bama's only favored by 13. Over under is 47.5. P, what you got right here with good old Coach Freeze?
Man, this is a sneaky, interesting matchup because Hugh Freeze was kind of the guy that kind of broke Saban, if you will, a few years ago. He was the guy that kind of learned how to
always beat him.
Always used to beat him. But I don't think he has the quarterback play he needs to be able to do it this season.
Yeah,
I like Alabama to kind of keep rolling. Kind of show that, hey, because here's Saban. He's trying to show, hey, we're a playoff contender.
Yeah,
and he's gonna try to run up on these guys. So I like Alabama to win big.
Yeah,
something along the lines of 38 to 10 Alabama, something like that.
Yeah, I can most definitely see that. To me, it's just incredible to see Auburn just run the football so much and still being able to find ways to make plays and score points. That's crazy to me. But yeah, so look out, man. Once they get a quarterback and a couple of skill pieces on offense, they're going to be a scary team in the SEC. But I'm definitely picking Bama to win this one. One of the things too that I'm really looking out for, Georgia's been the luckiest team, right? Luckiest team over the past 2 to 3 seasons. Somebody always gets hurt. Somebody else gets injured. And I hate to put that energy out there, but I mean, just Alabama, just get out of this game healthy, dude. Like, just get out completely, totally healthy. Get up big, get your stars out of the game. Because we don't want to give Georgia any edge in that SEC championship in a situation where Alabama should be able to absolutely destroy them. I'm going to go Alabama to win this game. I'm going to go 37 to 20.
Nice.
All right, now we got Florida State versus Florida. The game is in the Swamp at 7 p.m. Florida State is favored by 6.5 points, and the over-under is 49.5. P, what you got on this?
Another interesting matchup. Do you know, has Florida hit their 6 wins yet?
Nope. They're only at 5. So they've got to get bowl eligible.
This is their Super Bowl. This is their Super Bowl. All right. This is their daggone Super Bowl here. And, heck, Florida State quarterback had a nasty injury. I haven't watched it, but I heard nasty injury last week.
Yeah.
So I didn't see the backup. Not sure, how good he is. So we have no idea how Florida State looks about their starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
This game is like it's in the Swamp. So,
night game
in the Swamp. I don't know how rocking the crowd's going to be, but this is kind of a toss-up game to me, man. I'm going to go Florida State just because they've been a better team overall. They'll find a way to win. So I'm going to go Florida State to win this one. Probably somewhat low scoring, 27 to 14, something like that.
Yeah, this one's going to be really, really interesting because obviously Florida State and Florida hate each other. So can you just talk about that Swamp? Is it going to be rocking? I believe that it is going to be rocking. Also, this team's got to get bowl eligible, and this is, like you said, their Super Bowl. This is, I could see Florida winning this one, especially with Florida State's starting quarterback being out.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see them pulling this off. This is a game that Florida State is, their strength of schedule hasn't been great. This is a game going into the playoff picture where they need to not only win, but win convincingly. This would help them out tremendously to be able to go to the Swamp in a night game up against the SEC team. Granted, if you beat them, they're not going to make it to a bowl. But not making it to a bowl in the SEC is not the same as not making it to a bowl in the daggum Big Ten, right? Completely and totally different. So I know that, the panel and all those guys are going to take that. They're going to pay attention to it. I don't know how to call this one. I think that 6.5 is a little strong for me. I don't see this game getting out of hand to that point. I don't think that Florida State wins it by a touchdown. I think maybe by 4 or 5 points or something, maybe even by like a field goal. I'm going to go Florida State to win this one because I hate Florida. I'm going to say 37 to 35 in favor of Florida State. Yeah. All right, so right here we've got at 7:30, it is USC Junior, South Carolina versus Clemson. Another rivalry game. Clemson's favored by 7.5 points. Over under is 49.5. I think this is another interesting one.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting one. Because South Carolina, they have more talent than people give them credit for. They have a decent looking roster. And Clemson, they've been down this season. This game is at USC. I think this is also for bowl eligibility for them, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is
might be.
I think that they have 5 wins, so this is their Super Bowl as well. Night game. should be rocking there. Man, this is another tough one, kind of a toss-up game. I'm gonna go Clemson because I don't like South Carolina, so I don't like Clemson either.
I know.
You know what? I'm gonna go and pick the SEC. I'm gonna go Clemson to win. USC Junior to win this one, and probably a pretty high-scoring game. 41-38. Clemson. USC.
USC. Okay, yeah. So, man, I don't know. I just don't know. The game is in South Kakalaki, so that's a tough place to play, especially at night. I don't want to pick South Carolina because I can't stand freaking Shane Beamer. I can't stand their whole bunch. But man, Dabo, golly, boy, Dabo Sweeney. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a pick, man. So I'm just gonna pick Clemson, even though I honestly think that South Carolina's gonna win. I'm just gonna pick Clemson. I'm gonna go Clemson to win this one. Let's call it 28 to 24. That's going to be okay. All right, so now we've got NC State versus North Carolina, and that right there, that Clemson, that is a typo. North Carolina is favored in this one by 2.5 points, and the game is it's at NC State. So over under is 55.5. This one is important because Tennessee plays NC State next season, so it's a good game for us to kind of pre-scout and kind of see what they've got going on up there. They've got a pretty solid team. It'll be interesting to see, what the offensive schemes and all that stuff looks like. But P, who you got?
Man, don't know a ton about either one of these teams besides the quarterback for North Carolina, Drake May. So, I know they got Mac Brown. So I'm going to go with Mac Brown and the Fighting Tar Heels here. I think that he'll have them ready to play here at the end of the season to win this big rivalry game. Probably put up a decent amount of points. Let's call it 35-28 North Carolina.
Yeah, I was very, I was a little bit shocked that North Carolina was favored in this game. I guess maybe they must have NC State's number or something like that. So, I'm just going to go opposite of what you did right there, Pete. I'm going to say NC State wins this one. Again, I don't know a whole lot about them, but I'm going to say this is going to be more of a high-scoring game. A lot of these rivalry games have been really high-scoring. I'm going to go on. I'm going to crank this one up. Let's go 49 points for NC State. And let's go 45 for North Carolina.
Horn burner.
Yep. All right, so this is the one right here. This is the big one, 3:30 in Neyland. It's our Volunteers versus, our quote-unquote rivals from down the way. The battle for Tennessee. And Vols are favored by 27 points. The over-under is 57.5. Pete, what you got?
Well, I seen a comment. I can't remember who it was today, but they predicted 57-7. I kind of like that score. I'm gonna go with that as well. 57-7. I think Vols roll today. I think Drummond comes out, gets a couple touchdown passes early in that game. Maybe goes for 3 or 4 touchdowns in the first half. Just because guys are gonna be so open. I think they can't stick to our guys. We'll be open. We'll hit plays. But I know we'll run the ball well too. Jalen Wright will get his 1,000 yards today. So I expect us to look great. I expect us to come out here, fly around defense, be able to play press man coverage, and really limit these guys to be able to do anything, really smother them. So I like the Vols will win 57-7 in Neyland.
Yeah, I really like that. I just feel like our Vols have let us down so many times this season, man. Just with the way that I see that the game could go and us just not executing properly, as a staff, as the players, whatever, we just have not done it. But yeah, this is a game that we should be able to put up 60 points in. Even with all the injuries that we have, especially on the outside, we should still be able to put up a whole lot of points. Excuse me. I'm going to go, though. Hey, man, I really want to pick Tennessee to put up 60 in this one, but I'm just going to go Tennessee to win this one 45-10 in Neyland. And, I hope and pray that all of our seniors and guys who won't be back next season have a great game. I hope that we look good to get us into a good bowl game. It seems like everyone wants one down in Florida. I wouldn't mind that. I would like for us to be able to go down to South Florida. I would try to go to that game. So that is my prediction on that. And I want to kind of get back to finish out this show because we've got a few more minutes left before we are all the way up to noon. Well, no, it's actually 12 right now. I'm going to get back in here and take a look at some of these. Okay, good. So we've got a lot of chats right here. A lot of guys putting in some predictions.
North Carolina by 10. Okay.
Yeah, man.
North Carolina by 3.
Love it. Let's see what this says right here from Robert Ramsey. Says our secondary is very banged up and our O-line is missing some key players. We have to come out fast and keep Vandy on their heels on offense and defense. Go Vols. Yeah, so that's an excellent point. And then let's see up here. We've got Tennessee Junior says Michigan by 6. Go Big Orange. By 100. I love that, man. It looks like we missed a couple. Did we miss it more? Yeah, probably missed several of them. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, man. I don't have a whole lot to add to this.
Yeah,
I guess just my closing thoughts is want to see these seniors play well, want to see the offense be explosive, want to see our defense get off the field on third down. Is Tim Banks ever going to adjust to what a team does ever? He's going to have to show that. I think that his seat's kind of starting to get heated up. So want to see the defense look way better than it has these past couple of weeks, and want to see Nico, want to see these young guys get out and ball. And, I want to see Nico at the start of halftime, at the start of the second half.
Yeah. I agree with all those points as well. I want to see Nico. But just, I want to say thank you to those daggum seniors, man. Those guys came
thank y'all so much, man.
Those guys came here late on live Tennessee. They could have left, okay? They were here during a really tough time in our history. Those guys stuck it out and have fought tooth and nail to get this team kind of out of the pits of hell. This team's been through hell and back, especially these seniors. And I want to see them go out here on top today. Hopefully, if you happen to be watching this and you're in the stadium, hopefully you guys freaking give these guys stand ovation because they deserve
absolutely
it. They deserve our absolute utmost. Hopefully it's a crowd, but I just want to say thank you to those seniors and go Vols.
Go Big Orange, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll probably be back for the post-game show like we normally do. We'll just kind of talk about how everything looked, especially if we see some of these young guys play. That'll be fun. We'll have a whole lot of stuff to kind of talk about. And, go Big Orange. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day until later on in that. Thanks. Peace.
Vols.